Okay, now this is pretty tragic type of story here. You got Murray Fisher. Okay, Murray Fisher is working as an operations technician at Airgas USA. And a month later, after he was hired, he finds out that he's got liver cancer. Now, that's really bad. Okay, that's a bad diagnosis. Feel so bad for Mr. Fisher. And he's getting positive reviews in his work. He's a good worker. Okay, that was October of 2019. In August of 2020, okay, he wants to take some time off for some medical treatments. Well, that certainly makes sense. I'm sure you're going to have several medical treatments coming down the road if you got liver cancer. All right. Now, these treatments can make you sick. Okay, they can make you ill. So he began taking legal hemp-based product to manage the pain. Now, USA Gas had no policy against hemp, and let's just make sure we're on the same page. Hemp is different from marijuana. Okay, they had you can't use marijuana policy, but nothing against hemp. Now here's the problem. Hemp can make you test positive for marijuana. So just out of the clear blue, he gets tapped on the shoulder for a random test, a drug test, and he tests positive for marijuana. Okay, now here's some people in the company who need to be fired. He goes to them and he says, look, I need to have a retest because I'm not using marijuana. I'm using hemp. All right, so you need to go and tell the drug testing company, the lab, that this is what I'm taking because I'm getting a false positive for marijuana. And I don't want a false positive. Okay, now you see the thing here? I'm not so sure that the people at Airgas understood the difference between hemp and marijuana. And so guess what? They never told the lab. They never went to the lab and said, "Oh, you need to make sure that you're differentiating between hemp and marijuana." This is the exact same thing where you're testing somebody for opiates or something like this, and that person is taking Vicodin over the counter. Sorry, like prescription. They got a prescription for it. You got to let the lab know that you're taking Vicodin because otherwise that's going to show up as an opiate, and the test doesn't know if you're getting your Vicodin from a prescription source or if you're getting it from the corner of 5th and Main. Okay, Senta, did they not have an MRO as a certified lab testing site? Senta, that's a very insightful question. I would hope so. And what Senta is giving us here, to set up a proper policy for drug testing, you really got to make sure that you have, first of all, a SAMHSA, an approved federal lab approved to do the testing, because there's some really bad testing sites out there, really bad. But you want a medical review officer. This is a doctor who has had additional training in substance abuse, so they know what to look for. And this is where they typically call the employee and say, hey, we got a positive test here for this. Can you tell me anything about that? And the employee can say, well, yeah, I'm a big pothead and I smoke pot pretty much every day. That might have something to do with it. Or they could say, well, I'm a cancer patient and I'm taking hemp. Oh, wow. What kind of hemp you taking? Well, I'm taking these pills, or I'm taking this oil, or I'm taking these gummy bears, or whatever in the heck it is, okay? You see, then they can work it out. So Senta, I got to think that the answer is no. I think that they probably, and I'm just guessing, used a cheapy lab with no MRO. Because if you have an MRO as part of your process, which you really want to have an MRO as part of your process, there's no doubt about that, that's more expensive. Okay, Well, I don't think they did any of that. And honestly, the real problem here is that Mr. Fisher told them. He told you. That means you got to tell the lab. Okay, so right away, Senta, I'm thinking there was no proper intake form for him to put down hemp. Okay, so I would expect there's all kinds of problems with the drug testing. Now, let me ask here, let's do a quick poll. How many people here, you do some sort of alcohol and or drug testing? Okay, there we go. Yeah. So after this session in December, I got a lot of folks saying, well, are we going to do something this year on proper drug testing? Well, maybe so. Well, maybe so. That's up to you. Okay. So, actually, you have ideas for what you want to have for the rest of 2025. Send me your ideas. I haven't put together an agenda yet. Okay. Well, you kind of see where this is going with Mr. Fisher. Nobody tells the lab. He tests positive again, and they fire him. Well, the honest belief rule is a very powerful law, a very powerful common law rule, and it's in all 50 states. All 50 states have this. If you, as the employer, have an honest belief that something's going on with an employee, you can rely on that. And that will protect you from a wrongful discharge case for ADA, FMLA, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's look at a similar case, and then let's come back to Mr. Fisher. Harsco Industries, okay? Hitt versus Harsco Industries. Famous oldie but goodie. Now, Mr. Hitt was a 69-year-old man working at Harsco Industries, and he got in a big argument one day with his Mr. Odom, his son-in-law. Apparently, Mr. Hitt was criticizing the way that Mr. Odom was raising his son, which is always a good idea in the family. And Mr. Hitt got upset. Mr. Odom got upset. So apparently Mr. Odom on the job kicked Mr. Hitt. Mr. Hitt punched Mr. Odom, and a big fight broke out. Okay. So here comes HR down, and HR wants to talk to people. Okay, hey, I want to investigate this. There's all these witnesses. Okay, has anybody ever tried to do an investigation and you go down and you talk to people and these people say something to the effect that, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to give a statement. Anybody ever run into that? Oh, yeah, getting lots of yeses here. Oh, yeah, many times, many times. Okay, I just made a note here. I am going to send you a proper workplace investigation policy. Okay, failure to fully cooperate in a company investigation may be grounds for immediate termination. I just love this. I don't want to get involved. You work here. you work here. You are involved. Are you kidding me? No. Now think about it. Could one or two people maybe get together and lie? Oh, my biggest struggle with this is my union client. Yeah, Danielle, we should probably talk later. When you got a union, things are a little different. But I will tell you, it is absolutely amazing how many people get away with things because the union is protecting some bad people. Okay, but here's the logic. One or two people might be able to keep their story straight and lie. There is no way 10 people could do that. Even 5 people could do that. I mean, if you've ever played telephone, where I'm going to whisper something to Clara, and Clara's going to whisper it to Jill, and Jill's going to whisper it to Tom. Okay. It's all going to fall apart about the third or fourth person, isn't it? Yeah. That's what an investigation is. I want the truth. So I'm going to send you a policy basically says all employees are required to fully cooperate in all company investigations. Okay, now that is something that will have to be bargained with the union. but we'll have to deal with that separately. Okay? But no, that's a very good point, Danielle. All right. Now, these one or two guys, they speak up. Everybody else says, I don't want to get involved. So right away, your investigation is going to be greatly, greatly flawed. Okay. So they talk to these two guys. And these two guys say, well, yeah, there was a big fight. Mr. Odom kicked Mr. Hitt. Mr. Hitt punched Mr. Odom. It was terrible. Big fight. Okay. Well, HR writes up its report, sends it to corporate. Corporate says, well, this is easy. Fire them both. So Harsco Industries fires them both. Mr. Hitt has a tizzy fit. He says, oh, you're just trying to get rid of me because I'm old, because I'm 69 years old. There was no fight. There was no fight. You're making this stuff up. So Mr. Hitt sues for age discrimination. He says, you're just doing this because I'm 69 years old. You're just doing this because I'm older. Okay? And Harsco is like, no, we got these written statements that are telling us that you're in a fight and blah, 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 blah. And so they continue with the lawsuit. Okay, has anybody here ever been deposed? You ever been through a deposition? Yeah, boy, look at all the hands going up here. It's not fun. I've had it described to me as being the legal equivalent of a colonoscopy. All right, not much fun. Okay, so the guys break. The guys crack. There was no fight. They lied. They made the whole thing up. Why? Well, because Mr. Hitt has a forklift job, and it's a lot easier to sit on your butt all day. Okay, well, it's also a skilled position, so, there you go. They lied. The whole thing was a lie. Mr. Odom and Mr. Hitt were not in a fight. They were in an argument, and these two guys lied to get his job. Okay, now freeze right there. Anybody here have an idea as to what we should do with those two guys who lied? Anyone have an opinion about that? Fire him. Yeah, Lori, there you go. Yeah, policy is clear. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fire him. Fire him. Yeah. File it. Oh, I hope this is already in your policies that, lying to you, false documentation. Oh, it is. Good, Daniel. Yeah, yeah. No, no, you are fired. Write them up or terminate them for blatant dishonesty and false information. There you go, Carter. Absolutely. You would not let this ride. What should we do with Mr. Odom and Mr. Hitt? What should we do? How many people think, oh, we should hire him back? Bring him back. I'm agreeing with you. I am agreeing with you 100%. I think, oh no, this was a terrible mistake. We got to fix this. Now, Harsco Industries comes back and says, we didn't like him that much anyway. Yeah, we really didn't like either one of them, so no, we're not going to bring you back. You're gone. And so they continued with the lawsuit. Now, you tell me, all right? Did Harsco Industries fire Mr. Hitt because of his age? No, no, they didn't. They didn't do that. And that's what he's suing for. You didn't fire me because of my age. You fired me because you thought I was in a fight. You were wrong. And the court came back and they said, that's the honest belief rule. The company honestly believed that you were in a fight. They honestly believed that. They were wrong. You're allowed to be wrong. You're not allowed to discriminate against someone because of their age. But you're allowed to be wrong. Everybody with me? This is a powerful, powerful doctrine. And that's why I started off with this one today, because you see how the honest belief rule, it comes in and backs up all that documentation. That documentation that you got, thank God that the HR person did get 2 written statements from those guys. Oh, by the way, I don't necessarily get written statements anymore today. What do? I say, well, hey, just tell me what happened. And I just, hey, just talk to me. And I'm going to record it. I'm going to document it. Just tell me what happened. People can talk a lot better than they can write. The average person in the country writes at the 8th grade level. And what's that mean? It means a lot of people, they write and read at the 4th grade level. Okay, so a lot of people are embarrassed over their lack of writing skills and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is a problem. Okay, this is a problem. The statements you get are not thorough. The statements you get often leave out facts, but when people talk, look what you got. That's documentation. Okay, is everybody with me? So if I record it, do I transcribe it for the digital file to keep recording? Oh, Danielle, if you want to, actually, to tip our hand a little bit, there's some great AI tools out there that will transcribe everything that it's saying. Absolutely. I don't do that. You know why I don't do that? Is because whoever I send this recording to, like another attorney, like civil rights, like God knows who, I want them to hear the recording because what comes out in these statements, the emotion comes out. The written word is not as persuasive today as an audio recording. So actually, I can transcribe them, but I don't because I want somebody on the other side to hear how the emotion comes out. Okay, everybody with me? Okay, so here's Mr. Fisher, and he's saying, okay, so let's go back to Mr. Fisher. All right, now that you know all this about the honest belief rule, let's go back to Mr. Fisher. Mr. Fisher is saying, I told you this. I told you I was taking hemp and that it was going to test me positive for marijuana. You were supposed to pass this on to the drug testing site. They didn't know that, and then you fired me anyway. Airgas is saying, well, we had an honest belief. We had an honest belief that you were using marijuana because the test came back positive for marijuana. Okay, you're the jury now. Do you think that Airgas had an honest belief that Mr. Fisher was using marijuana? Or is there some doubt that he might have been using hemp? Take a poll here. What do you think? How many people say, I don't think they had an honest belief that he was using marijuana? How many people think, no, they did not have an honest belief? No, because he told me he wasn't using pot. There you go, Carter. There you go. I don't think they did. And you know what, Lori? The court didn't think they did. No, because you see, you got the documents got to back up the honest belief rule. Okay, that's what you got to have. And I will tell you right now, Airgas lost. Airgas lost, and rightfully so. Okay, so this gets down to policies, procedures, and let's go back to Senta's point. I think if they had a properly set up substance abuse policy and practice, they would have had an MRO, they would have had an intake questionnaire that would have asked what all they're on. What all they're on. Okay. Is everybody with me? You will use this. There is not a month that goes by I don't use this. I use this all the time. Okay. Questions? Okay. Now let's get rid of one big obstacle here that is called hearsay. Hearsay. I get this still all the time. And you can't be in human resources if you don't understand hearsay. You got to understand hearsay. Okay? What is hearsay? Hearsay only occurs in court. That's the only place you have hearsay. So if I'm going to sit there and I'm going to testify as to what Lisa saw, okay? Well, Lisa's sitting right there. Lisa's sitting right there in court. Why would you ask me when the witness is readily available? That's hearsay. Okay, so I always get, well, asking people what they saw, isn't that hearsay? No. I am asking them, what did you see firsthand? What did you hear firsthand? What did you experience? We call that direct evidence. That is not hearsay. That is powerful evidence. I saw this. I heard this. Now, if they say, oh, well, I was sitting there, but I didn't hear it, but I know Amber heard it, or Stephanie heard it, or something like this. Well, then guess what you got to do? You got to go talk to Amber. You got to go talk to Stephanie. I want firsthand input as to what they saw. Okay, so we spent quite a bit of time on honest belief rule, and the reason being is you've got to make sure you got all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. And I want to reiterate, did you do a proper investigation? Okay, that did not happen at Airgas, and it cost them big time.